Hi, it's Jason Spears from drpremed.com. And are you a pre-med student who's in the process of applying to medical school and you're working on something that just seems not like it's not coming together for you? I'm referring to your personal statement for medical school. I know you've been focused on your GPA and most importantly the MCAT, but there's another very important aspect of getting into medical school, and that's your personal statement. And what I want to tell you is a personal statement can open up doors for you for getting into medical school, or it could actually close doors. It's all about how you present yourself to ADCOMs, because the overall goal of your personal statement is to do one and only one thing: get you to a medical school interview. But a lot of pre-med students don't know how to go about writing their personal statement, and they just don't know how serious it is. You have to remember you have one chance with 5,300 characters to make the strongest case of why you and why medicine. And if you're able to do that, then you're going to move on to the next level, which is the medical school interview. Unfortunately, though, you have to realize that this one personal statement that you write, it goes out to all the medical schools you apply to. So if you make a mistake in that personal statement, it can totally derail your chances of getting into medical school. It's not fair, but that's how it is. And even if you catch a mistake after you submit your application, you can't go back and erase it or make changes to it. So that's why you need to take the personal statement very serious. Now, I know you probably have a lot of questions about what I can do, what you should actually put in your personal statement, and I'm the guy who can help you out with that. I help students get into medical school by working with them on crafting a compelling and winning personal statement that gets them to the next level. I actually have a 95% success rate where if I take a look at your personal statement, I put my Midas touch on it, you're going to get to the next level, which is going to be medical school interview. I know that's what you want because you want your white coat and your stethoscope and the two letters behind your name. And I'm going to bring that and make that happen for you. And when I work with students on personal statement editing, it's not just a spelling and grammar check. I actually go through your personal statement line by line, detailed by detail, picking out every single thing in your personal statement that you may not be aware of. One thing I want to tell you right off the bat is your opening sentence. It has to be captivating, it has to be compelling, it has to grab the reader's attention immediately. Because you got to think about this. Adcoms are busy people that have a lot going on in their lives. Some are physicians, some are just on the missions committee, some are med students, and usually it's going to be a long day. They're going to come home and they have to read through these stack of personal statements. So if yours is boring, doesn't grab their attention, what's going to happen? Yours is going to just get tossed aside as another bland personal statement that doesn't move them. Now, if you have a personal statement that grabs the reader's attention immediately, what's going to happen is even if it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, they're going to wake up, they're going to be like, wow, this is great. And they're going to make notes and they're going to go back to the committee and they're going to say, we want this candidate, we have to bring them into a medical school interview. And it all starts with how you open your personal statement for medical school. So that's one thing I do for students. Another area that I help students out with is what topics should you write about? A lot of students, they write about topics that as adcoms we've all seen over and over, and it's boring. It does nothing to move you forward. It actually probably can put you in a bad position if you write about the wrong topics, because there's a way that you have to go about making a case of medicine and why you should be admitted to the field of medicine to become a doctor. And a lot of students just aren't aware of that, or they just put in topics, or they talk about things that are unnecessary, or they just rehash their resume. So all your extracurricular activities, they just put that in essay form, and that's not what you want to do. The personal statement is your chance to come off the paper and shine and let us know who you are. Let us know things that we can't find anywhere else in your application. That's what you want to do with your personal statement. I'm going to help you do that. A lot of times when students come to me with their personal statement, here's what happens. They have a complete personal statement. I take a look at it and then I make a lot of comments. I say, nope, I want you to get rid of this. What about expanding on this topic here? And based on what you said here, are there any other things that go along with that? Because I think we should actually make this the theme of your personal statement, because that's really going to draw out a lot of intangible qualities that just aren't anywhere else in your application. And after reviewing so many personal statements, I know that's going to really make your medical school essay stand out in a positive way, and it's going to get you to that next level. Because you have to remember, I do have that 95% success rate of the students I work with, because I totally redraft, recraft your personal statement in a way that you probably never even thought was possible could be done. But all I just need is a little bit of information from you, that background information. When you come to me with a complete draft of your personal statement, then I get to work, make some changes, give you some more feedback, and then you can walk away confidently knowing that after working with student Dr. Spears of drpremed.com, you're going to have the tools, you're going to have the medical school essay that's going to really help you get to the next level and getting into medical school and becoming a doctor. Because as I said previously, your medical personal statement really matters for getting into medical school. The number one factor is going to be your MCAT, because that's just a hard and solid number that says, can you do the work of being a doctor? And then after the MCAT, it's going to come down to your GPA, because we want to know, are you a hard worker? Can you handle the rigors of medical school curriculum? And then the third thing is your personal statement. And you have to think about the personal statement like this: you have complete control over your personal statement. It's not like the MCAT where you're going to study for weeks, even months, days and days, and just bury yourself in a books doing problem after problem. And by the time the test comes around, you're not 100% confident what's going to show up on that test. And that's the same thing that goes for you in the classroom with your exams and how your GPA is. You don't have 100% control over what the professor is going to test you on, but when it comes to the personal statement, you're in complete control. You're in a driver's seat, and you can write and talk about whatever you want. But if you know the key metrics, the key things to talk about that actually move AdComs into people deciding whether you get into medical school or not, that's going to put you on an entirely different level, where you're going to just blow away the competition who's writing personal statements that are talking about their extracurricular activities or how they shadow Dr. Jones, and Dr. Jones is such a great physician and they want to just be like him when they actually practice medicine. And that's absolutely not what you want to do, because if you tell me that in your personal statement, I'm like, great, you just wrote a great letter of recommendation for Dr. Jones, but it tells me nothing about what you can do for medicine. And then another thing that I see a lot of personal statements that students do, they talk about how medicine is so important to them. They love science and they just want to spend the rest of their lives helping people. And science is so interesting, fascinating. And they just had this one class, anatomy, a neuro class, a biology class, and they just knew going forward that they wanted to spend the rest of their lives doing that. And medicine's going to allow them to do that. That's great. It's boring though. We see it all the time. It doesn't move us anyway, because you, Mary Jane, Susan, Adam, Mike, they all write about that too. And you don't want to do that, because it's not going to help you stand out. Because you have to remember, getting to medical school is extremely competitive, where 60% of first time applicants are actually rejected when they apply to medical school. But what you can do is, because you know the numbers aren't going to change at this point, you need to take your personal statement very seriously. It's an unknown fact that the personal statement can make or break your chance for getting into medical school. So if you know you're on the cusp with the numbers, having an awesome personal statement can get you into medical school. Or maybe you have great numbers, but you just wrote about everything that everybody else writes about, so you don't stand out. So you're just another snowflake amongst millions of other snowflakes, and it doesn't matter to an AdCom, because there's nothing special about you. You have numbers that are the same as everybody else, but the person who also apply with the same numbers but has a better personal statement, they're the one who's going to get that acceptance, because they made a connection with the reader. And so if your person struggles with writing, or maybe you just know, I did science all my life, I haven't written too much, I really don't know what to say, then you really need to work with me, student Dr. Spears with drpremed.com, and I can really help you with your personal statement, get it to the next level. You don't want to just go online randomly to some forums, some internet places, and have somebody give your personal statement a look over, because you don't know the quality of their writing, you don't know their background, and they don't have your best interest at heart when they're editing your personal statement. I actually do. I do this for a living while I'm also a medical student, almost on my way to becoming a physician, and I've done this for many years. And again, I have over 95 success rate on the students I work with for getting them into medical school or whatever program they need to go to, post-bac programs or whatever. I can do that for you, and I have the added advantage of being a fourth year medical student at the time, being on committees, knowing what goes into it, and actually having applied to medical school myself. You don't want somebody who says, well, I was a lit major, or I do a lot of personal statements for grad students, so I surely can know what you need for medical school. That's not how it works. That's not who you want on your side. You want somebody who's actually applied to medical school, who's been successful, who's gotten into medical school, knows what adcoms are looking for, who actually knows how to write as well. I was actually a political science major while I was an undergrad student at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. So I wrote a lot of papers. I know how to use grammar, syntax, all of that good stuff that you probably don't care about, but I care about, and it's going to help you when you write your personal statement for medical school, and the adcoms are going to care about. And I just also have a lot of contacts, not just from being a medical student, but I was also the president of Pre-Med Society at Northwestern as well. So I have contacts at the top rated medical schools throughout the country. So I know what different committees are looking for in personal statements. And as I said before, that personal statement that you have goes out to all the medical schools that you're applying to. So you have one shot that's going to go out to everybody. So you want somebody who's well versed, who has a solid understanding what goes into a personal statement, what adcoms are looking for, and who can really help you take things to the next level. You owe it to yourself. You went through the brutal process of the MCAT. You went through all those pre-med years. You racked up all those hours of volunteering, extracurricular activities. Don't slack off now when it comes to your personal statement. What you do on your personal statement makes a difference of whether you're going to get secondary applications, and more importantly, whether you're going to get medical school interview invites. Because if you don't get an interview invite, you're not going to get into medical school. It's as simple as that. And I can help you get those medical school interview invites, because that's what your medical school essay does. It answers the question of the AdCom. Is this somebody we want to meet in person? And if your essay does that, then you're going to move on to the next level, and you're going to be on your way to getting into medical school, having your white coat. Again, if you need personal statement help, contact student Dr. Spears at drpremed.com, and I can get to work helping you craft the perfect award-winning medical school essay that's going to get you in. Take care.